What up, what up, what up, New York Giant Nation and sports fans all over the world? It's your boy, Mac the Giants fan, man. Just here to have a little bit of fun today, man. It's March Madness. We know it's that time of the year, man. Mac the Giants fan, man. I love it. It's one of my favorite times of the year in sports, man. So I just wanted to figure out, come on here, fill out a bracket, and share that with y'all, man, while I'm doing it, man. So let's get right to it, man. I'm gonna start out in the West region, man. I'm gonna do each region. I'm gonna just do each region individually. I'm not gonna just do like the whole first round and then come back. I'm gonna just do the whole region all at one time. I'm gonna start out west. First out west, we got the number one seed Gonzaga Bulldogs taking on Georgia State, a small conference school out of the Georgia State is out of the Sun Belt Conference. So here we go, man. It's not very likely that 16 seeds ever beat one seeds. Gonzaga is the number one overall seed in the entire tournament, and I'm just going to assume that they're going to move on and beat Georgia State. And now we got the 8-9 matchup. We got the Boise State, whatever they are, out of the Mountain West Conference versus the Memphis Tigers. Oh, the Boise State Broncos. I'm sorry, the Memphis Tigers out of Conference USA, I believe, and not Conference USA, out of the American Athletic Association. So this is a tough matchup. 8-9 matchup. It's a very good game. It's going to be a fun one to watch. Boise State, Memphis. I think we might be a little too much Memphis here. Boise State has had a very good season, nice run, but I think we're gonna have a little too much Memphis here. So I'm gonna go ahead and move Memphis over to the second round. Now we move down the bracket a little bit, and we up to that tricky 5-12 matchup. Anybody that follows this tournament knows that the 5-12 matchups can always be a little tricky. So we going, we got UConn Huskies at the 5 seed. We got the New Mexico State team out of the where is New Mexico State? What conference are they from? Out of the WAC. Mexico State's coming off a really promising year, man, and they're a tough team, man. They look tough in that WAC tournament, man. Running through the competition out there. But UConn's a different kind of animal coming out the Big East, man. And I like UConn to move on to the second round. Now we move down to the 4-13 matchup where we got them Arkansas Razorbacks taking on the Vermont Catamoots out of the American East. Now, they're not just the average 13 seed. Don't let this Vermont team fool you. This Vermont team, man, they go in, man. They've been dominating the American East for the better part of the last 10 years. And they're a formidable opponent, man. With that being said, I think it's still going to be a little too much Arkansas for the Vermont Catamoots to handle. So I'm going to go on ahead and move Arkansas on over to the second round. As we come back down to the other side of the bracket now, we got the Alabama Crimson Tide at the 6 seed. And they will be taking on the winner of the Rutgers Notre Dame first round game, playing for the 11th seed right there. I'm going to believe that Notre Dame is going to take care of Rutgers in that game, and I feel like Alabama is going to be playing Notre Dame here. And I think Notre Dame might actually get them. So I'm going to move them over. And I'm going to kind of pencil that in as Notre Dame. So then we're going to move down here. And we got the Texas Tech Red Raiders taking on Montana State. What conference is Montana State from? The Big Sky Conference. Representing the Big Sky Conference, 14 seed Montana State. Yeah, Texas Tech is just Going to be far too superior here. I think it's just way too much firepower on Texas Tech for Montana State to handle. But good season for Montana State nonetheless. And we move down here to the 7-10 matchup. Another dandy. Michigan State and Davidson. Which Michigan State team is going to show up? One of 9 Big Ten teams to make this tournament, man. Michigan State, very, very up and down year, man. This Davidson team is pretty tough as well. But I think at the end, talent will prevail here, and Michigan State will get the job done. So then we get down here to Duke and Cal State Fullerton, the 2-15 matchup. Everybody, this is Coach K's final tournament. This is his last chance to make a run. And the run starts right here with Duke moving on against Cal State Fullerton. So now we're going to go back up the bracket to round 2. These second round matchups in the West. First up, we got the 1 seed Gonzaga Bulldogs against the 9 seed Memphis Tigers. And I must say, I just think this is where Memphis's luck is going to run out, man. I think Gonzaga is going to take care of them and move on to the Sweet 16. So then we got the Connecticut Huskies, the 5 seed, versus the Arkansas Razorbacks. This is a tough one, man, but I just believe in the talent on this Arkansas team, unfortunately, and I'm a big fan of Big East basketball, and I cannot get a nod to Connecticut here. I think Arkansas is just too loaded right now with talent, and then Connecticut's just not going to be able to keep up there. So then we move on down here, and like I said, I penciled in Notre Dame here for this game. So we're going to go to 11 seed Notre Dame fighting Irish versus number 3 Texas Tech. And I just don't see it. I'm not seeing the upset happening here either. I'm just got to go pencil in Texas Tech here, man. Notre Dame, see ya. Peace out. So then we move on to the 7 seed Michigan State Spartans and the number 2 Duke Blue Devils. And I think the roller coaster ride at the late in the season that has been the Duke Blue Devils season, I think it comes to an end right here. Screeching halt. I feel like Michigan State pulls off the massive upset and moves on to the round of 16. And then we get here to the Sweet 16. And we got the number 1 seed Gonzaga Bulldogs versus the number 4 seed Arkansas Razorbacks. Whew, this is going to be a dandy. But I just love this Gonzaga basketball team. They have been sniffing so close, man, and this could be their year. We'll find out. Move on down the bracket. And we got the Texas Tech Red Raiders versus the Michigan State Spartans. And this is where the dream season for Michigan State comes to an end, man. I like Texas Tech here in this spot. And now we're here to the Western Regional Finals. Got the Gonzaga Bulldogs, the 1 seed. We got the Texas Tech Red Raiders, the 3 seed. Who's going to the Final Four? Got to give it to them Bulldogs, man. Out the West Coast Conference, man. Moving Gonzaga on to the Final Four out of the Western Conference, man. So now here we go. We're going to go down to the Eastern region and do the Eastern region now. And we'll start right here at the top with Baylor, the number 1 seed out the East, taking on a very game Norfolk State. However, even though with Baylor being a little undermanned, I cannot see number 16 Norfolk State getting the W here. So I'm going to go ahead and move Baylor over to the second round. Now we got another fun 8-9 matchup here. We got them Tar Heels from North Carolina taking on Marquette. 8 seed Tar Heels, 9 seed Marquette. I'm gonna just go ahead and get this one to the Tar Heels, man. Tar Heels, I just think they're just a little bit better. All right, now we got the 5-12 matchup here. We got St. Mary's, the at-large bid out the West Coast Conference at the 5 seed, and they will be taking on the winner of the first round matchup between Wyoming and Indiana. And to be quite frank, I think I'm going to go ahead and pencil in Indiana for the win here in that game. But I think I'm going to move St. Mary's over to the next round, man. It's a tough basketball team out the West Coast Conference. Very much battle-tested. Played Gonzaga, I believe, like 3 times this season. So, very battle-tested team, man. And they definitely got the W in one of those games. So, this team can definitely play with the best of the best. All right. Down to that 4-13 matchup. We got UCLA versus Akron. UCLA the 4 seed, Akron the 13 seed. I think we need to talk about this one too much. I'm going to go ahead and move UCLA on over. And then we come down to the 6-11 matchup. Texas Longhorns versus the Virginia Tech Hokies. Virginia Tech, the winners of the ACC. In that tournament, that was an amazing fashion, a great run through the ACC tournament, beating Duke in the finals of that tournament. And I think they're going to ride that wave in this first round matchup against Texas. And I'm going to move Virginia Tech on over at the 11th seed, advancing to the second round. Now we got the 3-14 matchup in the East region, the Purdue Boilermakers versus Yale. No way in the world can you convince me that Purdue is going to lose this game to Yale, man. Yale is a very disciplined basketball team. Out the Ivy League, very smart basketball team. But Purdue got some real dogs. They got some real athletes out there, man. And it's just, I can't see Yale getting the job done. And now we got another good 7-10 matchup here. We got Murray State, number 22 team in the nation. Murray State was the first team to punch their ticket out of the Ohio Valley Conference versus San Francisco, another at-large team from the West Coast Conference. West Coast Conference coming up, man. It's considered a mid-major, but that conference is definitely coming up to respectability and being on the level of a powerhouse conference with teams like Gonzaga and St. Mary's and this San Francisco team. However, Murray State, man, I just really like Murray State this year. I like what they've been accomplishing, and I'm just going to pick Murray State to move on here to the second round. And now we got the Kentucky Wildcats, the number 2 seed in the East, taking on St. Peter's. Where is St. Peter's from? St. Peter's out the MAAC conference, wherever that is. I guess it's the Mid-Atlantic Athletic Conference or something. That sounds about right. But nonetheless, they're not beating Kentucky. So we're going to move Kentucky on over, setting up a great matchup in round 2. So now we get to the second round here. Now we're going to see who's going to go into the Sweet 16 in the Eastern region. We got number 1 seed Baylor versus number 8 seed North Carolina. I think the injuries get to Baylor here. I really do. And I think North Carolina finds a way to pull off the upset here. So I'm going to move North Carolina over to the Sweet 16. Now we got number 5 St. Mary's versus number 4 UCLA. Man, St. Mary's is so battle-tested, man. But UCLA is different animal than most teams they play against on a nightly basis, man. I think UCLA ends the season the same areas right here, moving UCLA over to the round of 16. And we moved on down here to Virginia Tech and Purdue. Virginia Tech, the 11th seed out the ACC. Purdue, a 3 seed out the Big Ten. Yeah, I think the dream is over, Virginia Tech. I think Purdue it's going to be a little too much Purdue. Move Purdue on over to the round of 16. And now we got a great matchup here. Kentucky Wildcats, Murray State. Kentucky number 2, Murray State number 7, but Murray State is not no average number 7. And I'm just going to go for it. I think Murray State finds a way to pull off the upset, man. Right here. Murray State, knocking off Kentucky, going to the Sweet 16. So now here we are in the Sweet 16, man. We got North Carolina, the 8 seed. We got UCLA, the 4 seed. And I think this run is over for North Carolina, man. UCLA is who I'm going to move over here. And now we got the Purdue Boilermakers, and we got Murray State. And I think it's going to be a little too much for Murray State here. I think this Purdue team might have a little too much for Murray State. And ending a great season for the Murray State, this team out the Ohio Valley that was actually ranked in the top 25. Move Purdue over to the Elite Eight. Now we're here to the Eastern Conference Regional Finals. And I like who's going to the Final Four, Purdue or UCLA, man. My magic ball is telling me that I'm going to move the UCLA Bruins to the Final Four, man. I think they find a way to win this Eastern region. So now we're going to take it to the South, baby. And we're going to start at the top of the South with the number 1 seed, Arizona Wildcats, taking on the winner of Wright State out of the Horizon League, or Bryant out of the Northeast Conference. I really have no idea who's going to win that game, but it doesn't matter anyway because Arizona's beating whoever wins that game. I'm just going to move Arizona right on over. Now we got an 8-9 matchup, Seton Hall and TCU. Oh, man, I've seen a lot of this Seton Hall team this year. But TCU right now is riding a little bit of a wave. A little bit. And I kind of like TCU in this matchup, this 8-9 matchup. You never know how 8-9 matchups go. They usually tend to go either way, and I'm picking a 9 seed here in TCU. Now we got number 5 Houston, number 12 UAB. What's it gonna be? Like I said, these 5-12 matchups are always tricky. But I think this UAB is a tough team too. But I think representing the Conference USA, by the way, if anybody who didn't know. But Houston is they're Houston, man. They're a good basketball team, and I think they're going to find a way to get the job done here. I move them right on over. And now here's where I'm going to pick my biggest upset of the tournament in the first round. We got a 4-13 matchup. Illinois fighting the Illini out the Big Ten. Tennessee Chattanooga out the Southern Conference. This is not your average 13 seed, folks. And I think they are going to sniff out a W here against the Illinois Fighting Illini. So now we're going to move on down to the next matchup in the South region, the 6-11 matchup. Got them Colorado State, whatever. I'm sorry, I can't remember their mascot either. Colorado State, I think they're the Rams. At the 6th seed versus number 11, Michigan. Michigan coming in with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder maybe, but Just not feeling this Michigan team, man. Really not. So we're gonna go move Colorado State over right here. And now we got the 3-14 matchup. The Tennessee Volunteers out the SEC versus the Longwood Lancers out of the Big South Conference. Number 14 seed Longwood Lancers. Let me tell you, man. This Longwood Lancers team, they could be a bit formidable. Very experienced basketball team, man. They got some experience on that team. However, too much Tennessee Volunteers. Just can't pick that upset. Move on down. Ohio State, Loyola, Chicago. Oh, Loyola, the darlings from the tournament a couple of years ago. Everybody's darling when they made that Final Four run. Going against number 7 Ohio State. Going to go with the upset here and take Loyola Chicago here because Ohio State, for some reason, always seems to drop the damn ball in this tournament. And then we got the 2-15 matchup in the South. My Villanova Wildcats at the 2 seed, taking on the University of Delaware Fighting Blue Hands. And yes, I do live only like 15 minutes away from the University of Delaware campus. So this tears me that they matched these two teams up in the first round. My two teams that I had the most love for in this whole entire tournament. Got to knock one of them, got to knock the other one out in the first round. And I got to keep it 100 right here. I see no way in the world that Delaware is knocking off Villanova. So we're going to move Villanova on over to the next round. And move on up here to round 2 in the South. We got the number 1 Arizona Wildcats versus the TCU Horned Frogs, number 9 seed in the South. Got to go Arizona here, man. TCU's had a tremendous run, but it's going to come to an end. Got the number 5 Houston against the number 13 Tennessee Chattanooga. The Cinderella story is over. All Cinderella stories must come to an end. And Tennessee Chattanooga, this is where yours comes to an end. Got Houston moving on to the Sweet 16. Now we got the number 6 Colorado State versus number 3 Tennessee. Tennessee. I think too much Tennessee here. Good Colorado State basketball team, but Tennessee has just been playing out of their mind as of late. So I got to move Tennessee over there. And now we got the Loyola Chicago team taking on this Villanova team. Villanova has had quite a roller coaster of a season, up and down the top 25. If they're not hitting their threes, they are a very beatable basketball team. And I think they're going to be draining them things, making it rain in this particular matchup, and I'm moving Villanova over to the Sweet 16, baby. Let's go. Now, here we are in the round of 16. We got the number 1 Arizona Wildcats, number 5 Houston out of the South. And I'm going to move Arizona on over, sending them to the region finals. And then we're going to move on down here. Villanova, Tennessee, the 2 seed Villanova Wildcats, the 3 seed Tennessee Volunteers. And it pains me to say this, but I think Villanova goes ice cold in the round of 16, and I'm going to move the Tennessee Volunteers to the regional finals. To the South Region Finals, the Elite 8. We got the number 1 seed Arizona Wildcats, the number 3 seed Tennessee Volunteers. And I'm just liking this Tennessee team. I know Arizona is also a phenomenal basketball team, But I like Tennessee here in this spot. I think the moment's not going to be too big for them. I think they're gonna get this W and move on to the Final Four out of the South. And in the Midwest region, starting taking it from the top, the number one seed Kansas Jayhawks taking on the winner of Texas Southern out of the SWAC and Texas A&M Corpus Christi out of the Southland Conference. And it doesn't matter what conference in Texas you're from, you're not beating the Kansas Jayhawks in round one. Get up out of here. Moving Kansas over to the second round. 8-9 matchup, another great 8-9 matchup. It is some phenomenal 8-9 matchups in this tournament in all four regions. And this one also is the same. 8, not the San Diego State Aztecs. 9, the Creighton Blue Jays. Let's go. Big East representing them Big East. And I think the Creighton Blue Jays is going to find a way to get it done. I believe that's my third number 9 seed that I picked out of the 8-9 matchups. But, hey, those games go either way, and I'm picking them to go that way. That's exactly the way I'm picking them. You got number 5, Iowa, out the Big Ten. The Big Ten champions, as a matter of fact, ran through that tournament. And going against the number 12, Richmond Spiders out the A10. I think that that Iowa gets the job done here. They're going to ride that wave from the Big Ten tournament and take it to the next round. We got the number 4 Providence Friars taking on number 13 South Dakota State. Providence representing that Big East, man. South Dakota State representing the Summit League. I like the Big East here. I'm taking Providence. We got the number 6 seed LSU Tigers taking on the 11 seed Iowa State Cyclones out the Big 12. LSU is a mess right now. They are going through so much turmoil. Not sure how focused they're going to be for this game. I'm just going to move Iowa State over. And now we got the number 3 seed Wisconsin Badgers out the Big Ten taking on number 14 Colgate out the Patriot League. Colgate is a formidable opponent, but Wisconsin is just going to be too much for Colgate to handle. Now we move down to the 7-10 matchup. We got the USC Trojans taking on the number 10 Miami Hurricanes. Let me tell you something. I liked what I saw out this Miami team a little bit in the ACC tournament. They came up short, but it definitely wasn't from a lack of effort. And I'm really truly not feeling this USC team out the Pac-12, Pac-12. Just not really feeling them. So I'm gonna move them University of Miami over in this one. And then we get down to the 2-15 matchup in the Midwest region. And yeah, it's Auburn number 2, Jacksonville State at number 15. And Jacksonville State don't really belong here considering they didn't win that conference tournament, the Atlantic Sun Conference. The Bellarmine, a team small private school out of Kentucky, won the Atlantic Sun Conference, but since they're still only year or two in their transition from Division II, they're ineligible for the postseason, unfortunately. So Jacksonville State won the conference in the regular season, so that's why they got the automatic bid. With all that being said, somebody don't belong here, and that is the Jacksonville State team. They will get trashed by Auburn because they shouldn't be here in the first damn place. So we're going to move up to round 2 in the Midwest region. We got number 1 seed Kansas taking on number 9 seed Creighton. I like what I'm seeing out this Kansas team. I'm moving Kansas over to the Sweet 16. And we got the number 5 Iowa Hawkeyes taking on number 4 Providence Friars. It's going to be a tough matchup for Providence, excuse me. I really like this Iowa team, and I'm going to move them to the Sweet 16. The 5 seed moving on over the 4 seed here. We got the number 11 Iowa State Cyclones, number 3 Wisconsin Badgers. And I once again, I think just too much Wisconsin here. I think they're just a better team, flat out better team than Iowa State, and they're going to get the job done. Now we got number 2 Auburn taking on number 10 Miami. And I think Auburn honestly kind of got jobbed here. I really thought Auburn was going to get that other 1 seed instead of Baylor, but I don't select I'm not the selection committee, so I don't handle all of that. But I think Auburn really should have been on that 1 line instead of Baylor. But with all that being said, I'm moving Auburn over against Miami. I just think it's going to be too much for Miami to handle there. And now here we are in the Sweet 16, man. Who's moving on to the Midwest Regional Finals? Got the number 1 Kansas Jayhawks, number 5 Iowa Hawkeyes. I got to take Kansas here. I really do. I think it's great of the years Iowa's had. Good run in the Big 10 tournament. But Kansas is just a different kind of animal, man. And I think this is the first reason I'm going to have come down to the top 2 teams. We got number 3 Wisconsin. We got number 2 Auburn. And I think I'm going to go ahead and move Auburn over. I just love this Auburn basketball team. I really, really do. And I think this conference is the only reason I have coming down to teams to number 1 and number 2. Who's it going to be? Who's going to the Final Four? I just really like Kansas here. I really do. So I'm going to pick Kansas to come out the Midwest region, go on to the Final Four. So now, who's it going to be? Who's going to the title game? On this side of the bracket, we got Gonzaga, the number 1 overall seed in the entire tournament, going against the number 4 UCLA Bruins, the winners of the Eastern region. And I like the winners of the West, the Gonzaga Bulldogs. I like them to go to the championship game. And we got the number 3 Tennessee Volunteers out the South, taking on the number 1 Kansas Jayhawks out the Midwest. And I think I like Tennessee here. I'm sending Tennessee to the title game, man. Tennessee has been playing very inspired basketball, man, coming out that SEC this year. And I picked them to go to the title game, taking on the Gonzaga Bulldogs. And there can only be one, folks. Who's it going to be? Yeah, I think it's going to be the Gonzaga Bulldogs for the W. And that's what I got for y'all, man. I think the Gonzaga Bulldogs going to go all the way. They're going to win this title. And that's all I got to say about that, man. But thanks for joining me while I was just breaking down that bracket a little bit, having a little bit of fun with it. Hope y'all enjoy this, man. It's your boy, Mac the Giants fan. Peace. I'd like to thank you all for listening. If you was feeling this, please take time to subscribe and smack them likes. Feel free to drop a comment. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to ring that bell so you know when I'm dropping new content. It's your boy, Mac the Giants fan. You can find me on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook at Mac the Giants fan. That's MacDa Giants fan.